Hey Canucks fans, it's finally here. Game 1, Canucks versus Predators. I'm going to the game. Maybe some of you are going to the game. Others of you are watching at home. Doesn't matter. Just cheer on the team no matter where you're watching from. If you're at the game tonight, by the way, we'd love to meet you. Second intermission. I mean, you're doing even a meetup, just a chance to meet. I guess that's a meetup. 316, outside of section 315, 316 in the Legends locker room display. Second intermission. If you're at the game tonight, please come by and say hello. Second intermission. All right, Canucks fans, this is why, in this vlog, I'm going to talk about why I think the Canucks are going to win this series. And let's just set the stage. It is the first Canucks home game since April 23rd, 2015. That's when they won Game 5 against Calgary. Then they lost Game 6 in Calgary. So April 23rd, 2015, almost 9 years to the day. Back then, the number one song was See You Again, Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth. The number one movie was Furious 7, and I was good looking back then as well. So not all things have changed. But what has changed is the Canucks, obviously, they haven't hosted a home playoff game. 2020, they're in the bubble. But yes, since 2015, they've been in one playoff series, and that is 2020, and that wasn't even here at home. So let's set the stage tonight. Vancouver versus Nashville. Obviously, I'm pumped. Got a brand new haircut just to look good for tonight, look good for the Canucks. And this is why I think the Canucks are going to win. A lot of the stuff I'm going to say now, I've said in the past week in my vlogs. Let's just go position by position and then talk about a couple of intangibles. Forwards. You could say that the top lines are a saw-off. Miller, Besser, and Pius Suter, good top line. And Nashville has a really good top line of Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist. So whether they're a hard match against each other, depending on last change and who wants to do what between Brunette and Tocchet, we don't know. But let's just say that's a saw-off. Some really good offense from both of those units. After that, I think the Canucks' depth, both down the middle and overall in their bottom 9 or their next 9, I think is stronger than Nashville's. Because when you look at down the middle, the Canucks can roll Miller, Pettersson, Lindholm, and Bluger. And then you still have Oman and Suter that can play center as well. Down the middle for Nashville is Tommy Novak, Colton Sissons, and Michael McCarron. And if there's any Nashville Predators fans, forgive me, A, for butchering any last names, and B, for if I'm saying something wrong about the way the team plays, just because I simply don't watch Nashville as much as I watch Vancouver. But I look at Novak, Sissons, McCarron, and I look at some of the other forwards that Nashville has. Anthony Beauvillier, who we traded away from here. Evangelista, who's a good player, good two-way player. Jankowski, Zucker, who has some offense. Sherwood, Smith. So those guys, I don't hear names that maybe I think are as prominent as Elias Pettersson, maybe even Niels Höglander, and especially Lindholm, Joshua, and Garland. So not only do I think the Canucks have more depth down the middle, I think they have a more well-rounded forward group. And I look at that Lindholm, Garland, Joshua as our third line. I think that can be a total difference maker in this series. They can score, they can play tough, they can play great defense. So that's what I think the third line is going to be a difference maker if you call the first lines a saw-off. And then Pettersson, he's not going to have a really tough matchup unless I'm missing something. I'm not sure there's a defensive stopper down the middle in Nashville, except for Ryan O'Reilly. But O'Reilly can't check both Miller and Pettersson. They got to match him up against only one of those two lines. So whoever O'Reilly's not up against, Miller or Petey, I expect them to dominate or do well. And then I expect the Lindholm, Joshua, Garland line to have a good effect as well. It's funny, you look at, I say that there's a lot of scoring, a lot of dynamism in the Canucks forward group. It's actually Nashville that's the higher scoring team. The Nashville that's the better offensive team. But the Canucks as a whole, 5-on-5 defense, I think they're number one in the league this year, or very close to it. So it's kind of ironic that a team like Vancouver that started off so well before Christmas, scoring almost on every shot they took, they actually really locked it down defensively this season. So when you look at these two teams, Nashville's the offensive team and Vancouver is the more defensive team. So let's get to defense. Obviously, we know in Vancouver, it's Hughes, Hronek, it's Susie Myers, and it's Colin Zadorov. The pairings for Nashville are McDonough and Yossi, Lazan and Carrier, and Stastny and Shen. Much like the top lines up front are a saw-off, I'd say the top two pairings are a saw-off. It doesn't mean that these guys aren't going to produce, but in terms of quality, Hughes and Hronek, outstanding. We know as Canucks fans how good they've been all season, but You have Roman Josi, a former Norris winner there, along with Ryan McDonough, who's had a really, really good season. So it's kind of interesting. Like Josi and Hughes, you can kind of say are equivalent or close equivalent, and then McDonough and Hronek as the really good supporting partners, their partners, so to speak. So let's say that pairing is a saw-off. Then you go to the defense. The Nashville second and third pairings are made up very similar to the Vancouver second and third pairings. Big, tough, tough to play against, tough to get to the front of the net in Lazar, Carrier, Stastny, and of course we know a lot about Luke Schenn. So on the D, not necessarily systems, but looking at the 6 guys, I'm calling this really, really even between Vancouver and Nashville. And that should lead to some really good hockey because Nashville's got some really good defensemen, as the Canucks do as well. Then in goal, also pretty much a saw-off, although I'd probably give a slight advantage to Thatcher Demko. He had a better season than UC Saros. He's probably fresher coming off that 5 to 6 week injury. And I just think that he's hungry. Now, that is not to say that UC Saros isn't hungry. He's a very, very good goaltender in his own right. But at least statistically, he hasn't had the same year that Demko has had. Both of them, obviously, capable of stealing a game or two. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple shutouts in this series for sure. But give a slight edge to Vancouver. Then special teams. Vancouver had better power play and better penalty killing percentage than Nashville. But that was kind of buoyed by a really hot start by Vancouver's power play at the start of the year. So I'm not going to... I've seen firsthand Vancouver special teams. It's not great. I can't really speak to Nashville special teams. So let's call that even for the sake of calling it even. And then I think both Tocchet and Brunette are really good coaches as well. So if I strike defense, special teams, and coaching away, then it comes down to offense and goaltending. And both of those, I give an edge to the Canucks. A slight edge in the goaltending, very slight. Saros is good, no disrespect. But I think it's the Canucks forward group that's going to separate itself from the Nashville Predators forward group. And that's why, add it all together, I'm saying Vancouver Canucks in 6. Would love it to be 5 games so that they can save that one extra trip to Nashville, but I think it will be Vancouver in 6. But Canucks fans, Predators fans, and anyone in between would love to hear your predictions down below for this series. Also, I say the Canucks are winning the series 4-2. I'm going to say they win the first game of the playoffs 4-2. Don't worry, I'm not going to predict 4-2 for every single game. I'll see what happens tonight. But I say the Canucks are able to score a few 4-2. Maybe there's an empty netter in there. And I'd say that Elias Pettersson is going to be the first one to score in the playoffs tonight. So let's go with 4-2 Canucks in the game. Elias Pettersson scoring the first Canucks goal, and 4-2 Canucks for the series. Would love your predictions down below. If you're at the game tonight, make sure you come say hi. Second intermission outside of section 315 in the Legends locker room display. And my plan is to stream tonight at 11. If the game goes late overtime, I'll stream as soon as I can. I'll update it as much as I can. But right now, we're going to schedule it for 11 p.m. right here to recap this massive game 1. Shout out to my sponsors, Vancity Experts Real Estate, Perform and Transform, Personal Training, Weight Loss. Thank you, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Carol Bovenlander, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame and franchise members as well. Thanks for all your support. And to all of you for watching, liking, subscribing, I thank you as well. Always appreciate you, and I never, ever take you for granted. Oh, by the way, before I wind up, don't forget to enter my NHL Playoff Confidence Pool. Really easy. The link is in the description. And those entries are due tomorrow, Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific. Okay, friends, on your way out, subscribe, like the video, leave a donation, become a member, upgrade your membership, and most importantly, leave your comments down below. How are you feeling about the series? Give me your predictions as we look ahead to Game 1 tonight. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Enjoy this Game 1. God bless, and go Canucks go.